Oh, hello. You know, every network goes down, but none go down for as long as PlayStation Network.
Welcome back to another video. I know PlayStation Network went down. I know networks go down, but what is very interesting and a bit, I guess, I don't know if it's cringe or just strange to me as an old man playing with toys, seeing, middle-aged men pull up terms of service agreements and take pictures of them to highlight the fact that Sony doesn't guarantee that the network will be up all the time as a way to mitigate, I guess, some sort of damage to their favorite brand. It's literally unbelievable at this point. Last week, people were arguing over the chopping of bamboo in one game versus another game. I'm not kidding. Bamboo and how much bamboo you could chop in a game. No clue if a woodchuck could chuck bamboo, if he could, or how much that would be. No idea what's going on, but yes, the PlayStation Network was down. Yes, I tend to defer to Microsoft and Xbox when it comes to anything network related, simply because I have not experienced the amount of downtime on Xbox Live that I have on PlayStation Network, especially during the PlayStation Network hack that was for almost a month, and then recently, just about a day ago, a 24-hour time period. But hey, everything is fine. It's okay, because the dominant brand, the most popular choice in video gaming, the Apple of console home video game systems, is the PlayStation. So I guess we need to move on from that one. Now, there was an interview, and it was Shawn Layden, and he said something that was very interesting, and I thought for a second, is Phil Spencer dressing up as Shawn Layden recently? Is that a thing? Maybe it's a cosplay thing? I don't know. I just found out what cosplay was. Costume play. You figure, as somebody who's a bit intelligent, I could figure that out. But no, when you're old and you're not exposed to this stuff, you have no clue, unless it's boobies or something like that, which is probably part of cosplay too, and that's probably why I know what cosplay is now. Thank you very much. But let's get to the interview and listen to what Shawn Layden had to say, and then we'll try and figure out who he sounds like, and back then strategies versus right now strategies and timelines and all that good stuff. So let's get to it, and then we shall discuss.
There was a time back in PlayStation 1 where we had a game called Jet Moto and a game called Warhawk, and the studios wanted to publish them on PC. And at the time, Kutaragi-san rightly felt that Sony Creative Entertainment would not be in the PC publishing business. So I actually had to spin that off into another group in order to publish into the PC market, which wasn't really big back then in the late 90s. So it didn't really have a lot of impact, and most people don't remember that happened. But laterally, the reason why I thought we should go onto PC, and again, after a year, once a game's in the market,
initial release,
because once a game's in the market for a year, you can look at the decay rate.
Yeah.
It's not going to cannibalize sales. It's already sold to your console market that wants it. PC was not to make money, not to really generate FOMO so much as it was, I just want to introduce to people who are not in the PlayStation camp, these are the things we're doing. Check it out. It could be cool. My view was that the PC market wasn't going to come to PlayStation on its own. And for us to tell them the story of what our games are, we have to meet them where they are. And if you're on your PC, I will meet you where you are. Not on day one, on day 366. But it was more of a chance just to get IP and the brand out there to an audience which normally we don't have a chance to talk to.
When you're not going to come to the party, we're going to bring the party to you. When you're not going to show up on our platform, we're going to bring our platform's games to you. It pretty much sounds like Phil Spencer's strategy and Microsoft's Xbox strategy right now. Now, I know many of you are saying, but worry, didn't you hear when he said not on day 365, but on day 366, which means games coming a year later after they've sold into their console exclusive base. That's okay to come to another platform like the PC. And I believe that that is true. However, if you take what he was saying and the strategy was back then, and apply it to the rising cost of everything that PlayStation and Microsoft does. I keep talking about this because, yes, I believe that exclusive games matter, but I don't think that the exclusive type of games that you are talking about, that you and I are talking about, the huge AAA games that cost so much more money than they did when Shawn Layden was talking about that strategy back then, how in the world can these companies manage to mitigate all of these costs by limiting themselves to one box and then the PC. I don't know if that's something that can continue. I do find it interesting that when he talked about going to the PC to find a new audience, to hopefully maybe migrate them back to PlayStation if they see what PlayStation is doing on the console. Maybe that was a thing back then, but I'm not so sure that people that have these high-end PCs or even medium to low-range PCs that are playing games are going to say to themselves, well, now that I've played Horizon or Spider-Man a year later, I think I'll pick up a PlayStation 5. I don't think that's going to happen in today's market. Again, sounds a lot like the strategy that Phil Spencer and Xbox are putting forward, minus, of course, the exclusive games on other platforms like a console. They're already on other platforms like a PC. It's only a little bit of a half step to the left to get to another console. And I believe that if they continue this high-end cost game with their video games and everything that they do, they're going to have to figure something out, something more than what they're doing right now. Now, does that mean that PlayStation is going to publish all of their older games on an Xbox console or a Nintendo Switch 2? The games like Days Gone or Knack 2, games that are just sitting around doing absolutely nothing. Why not monetize these old games in the way that Xbox is with, say, Forza Horizon 5, finding a new audience to breathe life into an old game and, more importantly, remonetize a game over a extremely long period of time? No, I don't think that's going to happen. But I can't sit here as a normal thinking person and say to myself, okay, $200-300 million expenditures for games. I keep going back to Sucker Punch and Naughty Dog. They've literally done nothing the entire PlayStation 5 generation, and each of them will release one proper game for Sony this generation, Ghost of Yotai and Intergalactic. How long have those games been in development? How long do you have to wait for one PlayStation first-party title from these big first-party developers in a generation? Why would you purchase a PlayStation console for one game in an entire generation from these star-studded developers? The reason that is happening is because of the cost of developing these games and the fact that they need to wait as long as they possibly can to release them so that the PlayStation 5 sells more and more systems to give them a larger install base to potentially sell more copies of this game too, versus releasing this game everywhere, pulling in everyone that's already there and making money. Yes, you'd lose the prominence of only on PlayStation, but I made a video a few days ago. I don't think that even matters anymore. Most people are just purchasing PlayStations because it is the Apple of video games. And every third-party game that people point to that sells extremely well on PlayStation, they're buying these systems for those third-party games. There's brand awareness. People see these third-party games, and they don't even know that they're not PlayStation games. They just associate them with PlayStation. If that exists, why would the idea of an exclusive game going somewhere else somehow degrade a base of consumers that thinks that way? They're just going to see it as a PlayStation game. So, do I think that's going to happen? No. But do I think that releasing a game only on the PlayStation and then only on PC, day and date, because that is coming, do I think that makes them the kind of money that they need to continue to spend the way they are? I don't know. You let me know in the comment section below. I mean, when you have a brand that's so culturally ingrained in people's consciousness like PlayStation, they can have a network outage for 24 hours, and instead of asking questions, people are literally going out of their way to protect Sony and protect their... I mean, I'm seeing countless clips of, servers that have gone down in the last 10 years. I mean, it's insane that this is what people are doing. And I'm not highlighting this to make it some console war thing. I'm just showing you this is how culturally ingrained the name PlayStation is for people almost everywhere. So if they're always going to choose PlayStation, clearly the exclusivity of a game on that system really doesn't matter because they're buying it anyway. They're associating with every third-party game as a PlayStation game. At this point, I feel like Sony would be stupid not to just rake in all the cash they can and differentiate with their hardware. I mean, look at the DualSense controller. That differentiates the experience on the PlayStation 5 for every third-party game that's associated only with PlayStation from consumers and every first-party game. So why not iterate in those ways and recoup the cost of everything that you're doing? Because most gamers who are fans of PlayStation want them to continue spending astronomical amounts of money to produce these high-end games. And I feel like in order to keep doing that, they're going to have to find other ways to monetize what they're doing beyond what it is they're doing right now. I don't think exclusives are going away for PlayStation. I don't think the business model right now is going to fail them, but I do feel like something has to give. It just costs too much to do what PlayStation does and what Xbox does. That's how I feel. So let me know in the comments section below what you think about this. Think about liking and subscribing to the video. That helps a lot. And I will see you in the next one.